How long does foster care last in South Africa? What's the timeline from the application to renewal? If you're considering becoming a foster parent, this video is for you. Foster care starts long before a court date. It begins when a child is identified as being in need of care and protection. This step is often triggered by schools, police, neighbors, or relative who notice neglect, abuse, or abandonment. Foster care begins when a social worker or concerned adult reports a child to the Department of Social Development, DSD, or child welfare. If the child is in immediate danger, they may be placed in temporary safe care within 48 hours, and a social worker begins an investigation as soon as possible, usually within a few weeks, depending on the urgency. Once a child is assessed, what's next? Here's how long it takes to get a court-ordered foster care placement. If the social worker recommends foster care, they will apply to the Children's Court within 30 days. After reviewing the social worker's reports and conducting interviews, the court can issue a foster care order. Timing depends on the court's schedule, but placement generally occurs within several weeks of completing the assessment. The children courts ensure the placement is in the child's best interest and that the foster parent is suitable. Once granted, the foster care placement is legally valid for up to 2 years, and the foster parent gains official rights and responsibilities. Foster care isn't permanent, but it's not a short-term fix either. Here's how long placement lasts. A standard foster care order is valid for 2 years, but this can be reviewed earlier if the child's situation changes. In some cases, foster care can continue until the child turns 18 or up to 21 if they're still completing school and the court approves the extension. Before the order expires, the social worker must conduct a reassessment and submit a new report to the court. You should begin this renewal process at least 3 months before the current order ends to avoid any legal gaps in care. Want to continue caring for your foster child after 2 years? Here's how and when to apply for an extension. Foster care can be extended every 2 years depending on the child's needs and the biological parent's situation. Your social worker will visit your home, update the child's report, and file a renewal application with the Children's Court. Foster care extensions must be approved by the Children's Court. The renewal process starts at least 3 months before expiry to avoid lapses. Failing to renew on time may result in placement disruption and loss of foster grants. What happens when foster care ends? Whether by reunification or adoption, here's how transitions are managed. The goal is always to create long-term stability, whether through family reunification, adoption, or supported independence. Foster care ends when the child is reunited with their biological parents. If the child is adopted by the foster family, foster care also typically ends when the child turns 18, but it can continue up to 21 if they are still in school or completing training, subject to the court's approval. The social worker must prepare a transition plan at least 6 months before the placement ends to ensure smooth reintegration or independence. Foster care is a legal journey with specific timelines, responsibilities, and renewals. By understanding each step from the initial report to the transition, you can provide meaningful care while staying legally compliant. For personalized legal help, visit www. burgerhuiserattorneys.co.za. Like, follow, and share this video to support others navigating the foster care system.